Greetings from Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke, and I very much hope that this video finds you well and in very good spirits wherever you are in the world. And today, if you don't mind, I'd like to continue on with the 31 days of cop films and gangster films from the year 1970 to the present day. So that covers a wide expanse of years, but I think also that provides a fun opportunity of engagement and trying to choose which films to talk about. And when we're talking today about the gangster film genre, or that category or subcategory, I have this film, which is described as being from 2005, and it is a real exciting thrill ride that is operatic, that is almost it's overflowing with human emotion and that type of fundamental, elemental aspects of the human condition, human existence. Love, hate, loyalty, betrayal. It's all on the line, set against the backdrop of the cool, dark exteriors or the neon lit interiors that, whatever the case may be, might reveal some kind of surface level eccentricity of the particular world that we inhabit or that we are privy to or witnessing as viewers of the film. But beyond the surface or below the surface, we realize that those human feelings, those emotions, those highly charged expressions of elemental aspects of being human, setting the stage in a type of operatic style of expression and violence. I think we realize that there is so much of the ebb and flow of feeling. And when that feeling is expressed in the way that it is through this film, you are in for one heck of a ride indeed. And so we are speaking about a film which has a great cast included, in which are Kim Young-chul and Shim Min-ha and Kim Roy-ha, and also it stars Lee Byung-hun, or Lee Byung-hun. And this is, again, pardon me for my very poor pronunciation of the Korean language, 달콤한 인생, or as it is often referred to in English for those English language DVDs, etc., A Bittersweet Life. So this is described as being from 2005, with the main character, Sun-woo, played by the iconic, legendary, ultra cool, charismatic to the max, Lee Byung-hun. And so he plays this character, which is on the maybe the gangster side of the law, or that line between law enforcement and crime. And here we understand that he is a type of loner, but he also performs hits, and he also performs tasks or services on behalf of or at the request of his boss, the organized crime leader that we also meet. And we also understand that therein lies a certain potential for the testing of loyalty and the interpretation of betrayal, and whether that interpretation be based on truths or accuracies or misconceptions and misunderstandings. When that area of potential betrayal is mixed in with notions of jealousy, maybe sexual jealousy, or jealousy bordering on love and hate, relationships between loved ones or people that the characters love or think they love or are obsessed with, and that obsession can lead to maybe miscalculations and misinterpretations of actual situations, or not, depending on the case at hand and the plot progressions at hand. When you have all that as the backdrop, with this main character, who is this gangland loner hitman that is ever so reliable, ever so skilled, not just with weapons, but also with his hands and with his body, in terms of his martial arts fighting skills, and while maintaining the ultra suave, ultra cool screen presence and persona that Lee Byung-hun definitely has. This is a volatile, supremely entertaining cocktail of a crime movie. And as I say, it is mixed in with this great elemental engagement with real strongly expressed human emotions. And so those human emotions are, as I say, loyalty. So we have the idea of loyalty between and among the members of this organization, with Lee Byung-hun's character, I think, at the center of that. We have the idea of the ranks of authority and rivalries that might occur between and among various components of this gangster lifestyle and the other characters that we meet. There might be the semblance of friendship, but in fact that is hiding a sense of real seething maybe antagonism and frustration, leading to real hyper and hyper realized and also quite intense and vicious rivalries that also find expressions with these explosive scenes of action and violence as a means of trying to test each other. Also, speaking of testing, we also have the interplayed here the idea of the exploration of what might be said to be the intimate or the emotional side of characters like Sunwoo, the Lee Byung-hun character, when he encounters the Shin Min-ha character, and what her position seems to engender within him. What meeting her character leads him to begin to think about and wonder and contemplate, and whether that wonder or contemplation leads to feelings of, say, a yearning for intimacy or some kind of emotional based longing, and or whether that leads to an inward contemplation of his own state of affairs and state of mind, and indeed state of being, in the context of the way in which he lives his life vis-a-vis the orders that he receives from the higher echelons of the criminal society that he is a part of, or whether that means a type of questioning of his own sense of morality, or whether it is indeed a further enhancement or solidification of his own moral code. After all, when we're talking about this character, Sunwoo, the Lee Byung-hun character, we're talking about a character that arguably is doing things that seems very shocking and very violent and very much questionable in terms of a sort of a generally acceptable code of conduct, as it were. But at the same time, in the context of the film, in the story, and the being swept up in the almost in the noir type elements of the film and the world and the environments, we also realize that his character is one that has a strict moral code, a type of philosophy or viewpoint that guides him and guides his choices, and thus, for purposes of a cinematic engagement and work of cinema entertainment, he makes for a really compelling hero or anti-hero. In any event, the main character or protagonist that we as viewers, I think, can latch onto in terms of his story and his own concerns and his means and objectives, as well as rooting for him whenever he is caught in a bind, and then some, whether that means certain violent encounters that he might have with, say, maybe certain elements of the criminal society that we meet, or if those encounters or those confrontations become even more intense, or perhaps carry with them even more grave results or circumstances. Again, as the plot develops, we see various ways in which his situation becomes even more, say, compromised or threatened. And we see those threats or challenges to him and how he tries to get out of each particular challenge. And so we root for him because, I think, of his character and his moral code, and also going back to the really suave and charismatic performance of Lee Byung-hun. Really is he's one of the great legends and for good reason. I should say also as a personal note, uh, uh, um, Lee Byung-hun is one of personal favorites in my own family. My wife and my mother-in-law they love Lee Byung-hun, and so if ever there's an opportunity to watch a film or a TV show or something that features him, that they are very much part of that, and they like to watch that. In particular, my mother-in-law, she is, while she isn't necessarily that into, say, films that are about crime or violence, or that have this really intense edge of, say, action scenes like A Bittersweet Life does. She really enjoyed this film, Bittersweet Life, and I enjoyed the film so much, and I enjoyed it even more because of her enjoyment and my the enjoyment of others. So it became this really great thing, and I should say too that she enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it because Lee is so cool in this film. He is so magnetic and charming, and there are moments where he's either totally in command of the situation, his character is totally in command of the situation, or his life is being totally upended, and he's under grave threat. In either case, we see the character trying his best to get out of these very precarious situations that he is facing, especially when his own emotional state and his own heart and soul seem to be making him take pause and to stop and think and to wonder and question and re-examine his own state of affairs and his own place in the world, even in those situations, or perhaps because of those particular let's say, crises of morality, for lack of a better phrase. Because of those, perhaps we can see his story becoming even more complex, even more nuanced, and thus even more compelling for us, the viewer, to follow and to support and to root for. He is, again, an anti-hero, but he can also be described as a hero because of the choices that we see him make and think and develop. And it's really a grand feat, too, because we see him express himself in his body language and his movements. The fight sequences are just off the charts amazing. There is a martial arts element to it as well. There's a ballet choreograph element to it that is so beautiful, so filled with life and energy. And also, too, in the scenes of dialogue, or maybe non-dialogue, the scenes of silence, as it were, we still get so much the feeling and register of the moral complexity and dynamics that this character is feeling in a given moment, whether it's being confronted with, say, something that's being told him via phone call, or maybe it's his choice of whether or not to push the button to make a call that might mean the life or death of a character that he's with, or if it's being confronted with threats of violence, or being confronted with threats against his own life or the lives of people that he begins to care about. There are moments when he speaks dialogue, and there are other moments when he is silent. Either way, we feel exactly what it is that is going on in his heart and his mind in this moment, and that is a beautiful thing indeed. Lee Byung-hun is a magnetic, iconic actor performer, and he gives his all. You can tell he gives his all, and he remains ever so cool, ever so suave, and the story too has all the wrinkles, all the twists and turns of a crime thriller, neo-noir thriller that is also to the max entertaining, to the max ultra cool, and to the max so emotionally moving and absorbing that this becomes this great grand entertainment indeed. So this is the work from writer-director Kim Ji-woon. And it is a great work indeed. Kim Ji-woon's work, starring Lee Byung-hun. And again, please pardon me for my poor pronunciation. This is 달콤한 인생, or as it may be known in English, A Bittersweet Life. Okay, my dear friends, so that's it for now. And so until we meet again, please be happy and healthy and well. And please keep on watching a lot of great movies. Thank you so much, as always, for your time. I very much appreciate it. Stay strong, stay safe, and cheers.